Hello everyone, welcome back to Fantasy Tales. Today we're going to be talking about the faction you're most familiar with, the Gums, following what the main faction did and what it eventually became. But before we start, chuck a like, subscribe and leave a comment on what you'd like to see next. And without further ado, let's get into it. Gum would become a household name until the first war between humans and trolls. The most warlike from this conflict would found the first Gum tribes, ruled over by Orlag, their first warlord. Initially, they would wage war on each other and carry out raids on local human settlements. This was until the rise of Gunmar, who killed Orlag and took his place as warlord and king of all Gums, with his son Bula becoming their prince and general. From this day, the Gums would stand as a united front under Gunmar, directing them to attack human settlements and other troll encampments. From these raids, they found the goblins, Krubera, and Stalklings, who turned out to be perfect tools. So after a deal was struck with their leader, the young of the Krubera would be inducted into the ways of Gum mentality and warfare. Chief and greatest among them was the Krubera, Arg, who grew to be their general, while the goblins would become their eyes and ears in enemy strongholds, and Stalklings became a great beast for the Gums, with their unique ability to survive in sunlight. Greatest of the strongholds they faced was Camelot, ruled over by King Arthur, Morgan Le Fay, and Merlin. Together, they were able to hold off and fight against the Gums, pushing them deep within their forest home. At some unknown time, however, Morgana switched sides and instead helped Gunmar to destroy Camelot, upgrading his sword, providing an army of assassins, and promising to all of them that she would bring about the eternal night, giving the Gum forces free to attack anyone without fear of the sunlight. This would not happen, as it would be interrupted by the forces of good trolls and Camelot. With Arg's abandonment, they successfully locked Gunmar and the remaining Gums into the Darklands for centuries to come. Gunmar and his forces would find themselves in a new world, soon using their skills and military might to quickly dominate the whole of the Darklands. During their domination of the world, they would find Dictatius, and after he displayed his vast knowledge of troll lore and other secrets, he was inducted into their ranks and became Gunmar's advisor. Yet even with complete control over their new prison, they could not find a way out, at least not a way big enough for them. Gunmar instead played the waiting game. Using Gum magic, they refined the small portals they found into a device known as a fetch. Not that kind of fetch, this kind of fetch. This device would allow goblins to pass over to the real world, snatch them babies, and let developing changelings cross over into the real world and create the Janus Order. Somehow the Gums were able to create changelings through a horrific process of Gum magic. Those who have seen the process are never the same. After 900 years of imprisonment, Kellerhead Bridge was opened by Bula and the surviving agents of the Janus Order before being shut off by the current-day Trollhunter, and from their scouts they learned of Bula's tragic fate. Not long after this, they captured a gnome, Chomsky, who had snuck into the baby sanctuary, and a changeling from the Janus Order known as Nomura. This gnome was put under heavy torture, losing his gnome-topped spike. They then told him to relay a message to Jim of what was to come for Bula's death, while Nomura would be put through torture in the Darklands for failing Bula, and regularly was beaten till her bones practically fell off. The message scarred Jim, and after losing a close friend in a battle, he journeyed to the Darklands in order to kill Gunmar. Once his presence was discovered, though, Dictatious wasted no time in dispatching a large force of Gum-Gums to apprehend Jim. In the skirmish, though, the portal Jim made would be destroyed and he would be taken prisoner. In the days that followed, Jim would be brought to the throne room/arena to fight the imprisoned monsters in order to break him, while Gunmar, Dictatious, and the Gum-Gum Horde looked on. When this wasn't working, they pitted Nomura and Jim against one another. In imprisonment, Nomura and Jim became friends, and so to torture her further and to prove her loyalty, they were to fight to the death. During the fight, Jim's friends would come and free him and Nomura, with a horde of Gum-Gums on their heels at every moment. While Gunmar, Dictatious, and a company of soldiers escaped, the main army was left behind to rot forever in the Darklands. More on that later. Now, out of them, Gunmar, Dictatious, and the company of soldiers would trek through Arcadia's woods until they were spotted by Otto, the leader of the Janus Order. Well, they can't run anyway. For the next few days, the remaining Gum-Gums would coordinate their next move, and thanks to the info they gained from Otto, they now knew how they could take Troll Market without lifting a finger. Soon though, Jim found out Gunmar escaped, so with the secret out, the Janus Order had no further use to their purpose. After they disposed of the Janus Order, they made their way to Troll Market and forcibly took it over, enslaving any trolls they could to get their hands on, to reform their horde and restart their war on the humans above. After this, the Gum-Gums would become lifeless automatons, subservient to Gunmar's every word. Side note, now when Gunmar enslaves a race with his sword, the way it's shown is quite inconsistent. In Wizards, when it's shown, the Gum-Gum created acts like a mind-controlled beast. Yet in Trollhunters Season 3, the trolls that are under his control show distress, meaning they can feel emotion. Yet we know they shouldn't, because when Troll is under Gunmar's control, he doesn't show any emotion or hesitation. This doesn't make any sense. Anyway, scouts would be sent up to catch any troll stragglers, eventually driving the rebels out of their hideout, after a nice coincidence that took down all of their defenses. The rebels driven out, Gunmar, now stronger as ever after absorbing the Heartstone in Trollmarket, will go on a mission to find Morgana, leaving his forces in command of Userna, the Krubera queen and leader from so long ago. But when their leader returned, he revealed that Dictatious was lying to them, and he was hunted down. Though they failed to capture Dictatious, they did capture the traitor Krubera Arg, who was used as bait for Jim when their master went to find Merlin's staff, and finally free Morgana after so many centuries. Gunmar successfully got the staff and attempted to free Morgana, but failed as Merlin had installed a failsafe where only human hands could use the staff. Gunmar had Userna collect a surviving changeling, failing to capture Nomura, but successfully captured the changeling Strickler, the former leader of the Janus Order. Using the human they had captured, they used her to persuade Strickler into using the staff who freed Morgana. She spent no time in beginning the ritual of Eternal Night. Gunmar then deployed most of his horde onto Arcadia, and they were met with heavy resistance by Jim's team and the army of rebel trolls. Soon Gunmar singled out Jim and engaged in an epic battle which led to Gunmar's death. With their master's death, most of the Gum-Gums exploded in a flash of red light, and when Morgana fell, the Eternal Night died with her. This wasn't the end for the Gum-Gums, however. With their connection to Gunmar, it had connected their very souls to the power of the Heartstone. With most of its power depleted, the surviving Gum-Gums rose as undead, now roaming aimlessly through the now undead troll market. The Gums were a very cool and unique looking race with a very cartoony name that struck fear into the very hearts of every troll that spoke their name. Their legacy that of destruction and evil. That's it for today's fantasy tale, and may the glory of Merlin be with you always.